So in this tutorial, I'll be talking about JSON data types in Python. So if you are actually, if you have actually used APIs for getting information, for example, getting cryptocurrency prices or maybe stock market prices or some kind of data, you might be able to know that most of those data come in JSON format. So we need to know how to actually work with JSON files. If you are into Python, if you are into working with different APIs, if you're trying machine learning, or yeah, it's cool. So let's see how to actually work with JSON files. So you can of course use a normal text file for storing and accessing data, but JSON is actually more efficient. So to work with JSON, you just need an inbuilt module called JSON. So we can say import JSON here, and this will actually import the JSON. It's an inbuilt module. You don't have to install anything externally. You just can use it. So let's see how to actually convert a dictionary into a JSON first. So I'll say my dictionary. So let's actually see how to work with dictionaries or how to convert dictionaries to a JSON file. So we'll say my dictionary. I'll declare a variable here called my dictionary, and let's say that dictionary has a lot of, so in this dictionary we have some details of some people. So and it is actually a list of people, so we can see this. Inside this we have other dictionaries with key and values. So for example, we have the name of the person here, so we can say maybe Jack, and we have his, so we have to put a comma here, and we have to say his age is, it's probably 30. So we can actually say an age here, and then maybe his weight here. So yeah, so we can say his weight is 30. We need to say that inside a code, and yeah, that's it. So now we have to create multiple dictionaries like this. So we'll just copy this and Control C and just paste this. So we have 3 people here, and at the end we need a comma to separate each items. So we'll actually change the name to Julie here, or July, or whatever it is. So we'll change her age to 25, and her weight is probably 60. Okay, so we need a comma here as well. So we have to change this name here, and we have to change this to maybe Peter, and we'll change this age to 22, and his weight is probably 50. And so yeah, we have details for 3 people here. Okay, let me just change this guy's weight here. So we'll change this to 70. Okay, so we have a dictionary here with some lists, and inside that list we have some other dictionary objects. So to actually convert this into a JSON file, we can say we have the inbuilt JSON module imported, so we just have to use it now. So I'll say JSON string. So we have to actually convert this into a string and then write this to actually a file. So for converting this into a string, we'll use the JSON module. So we will say JSON dot. So we say JSON dot, and we have 2 methods, dumps and loads. So dumps actually take a JSON object and it can actually convert it into a string. So we'll say dumps, and so our JSON object is going to be my dictionary, and now we just have to write this into a file. So we'll open a file, we'll say with open, and we have to specify a file name. So I'll say file.json, and we have to open it in write mode since we actually want to write data into it or write information into it, and we have to give it a name. So we'll say file here, it can be whatever you want, and now we can say file dot write, and we should actually be writing this uh, JSON string inside it. And now, yeah, that should be it. So now if I run this program, it has been completed successfully. So we should actually have a file. So if you open this json file.json file, you can see that this is poorly formatted. We have everything in a line, and this is not really good, because if you have a lot more data, this is going to be really bad, and it's going to be very hard to read. So to make it easy or more readable, we have to actually add indentation, or we have to actually add some spaces. And for that, we can actually say we have to come here to json.dumps, and we have to specify an argument here called intent. Intent, and we have to specify how much intent we need. So if I just say 2 here, and let's rerun the program. If I check this, okay, so now this has been intended correctly. You can try other numbers, maybe 4, and we run this, let's see. And you can actually, yeah, this looks good as well. So you can actually try with different things, and take one that actually you really like, well formatted thing. So now we have a JSON file with some JSON data inside it. So we have seen how to actually write to a file, how to actually convert a JSON object to a string and write it to a file. Now let's see the reverse of it. I mean, how to actually read from a JSON file. Let's actually see how to do that. So we don't need this code now. So let's import JSON as usual, and now what we need to do is we need to open the same file. We'll say with open, and we need to specify the file name. So in our case, it's file.json, and we need to open this in read mode, because we just don't need to actually write or do any modification to it. We just need to access the data. So we'll say as file, we are giving it a name, and now we'll say JSON object, and we'll say JSON obj. It's just a variable, so we'll say JSON dot loads, and this is actually going to load data from a JSON file. So we have to specify f or file dot read here. So we have to read from that file, and now if you just print out this JSON object, and if I run this program, you can see that it has been printed out, and we get all the information that was actually in the JSON file. So now to actually get a specific item, so say I want to get this name called Jack, so it is actually inside this dictionary called people. So let's access the individual element, or let's access that item called people, and then inside that we should get the first list. So this is actually a list here, so we need the first item inside. So I'll say item from the 0th index, and if I run this, okay, so now we got that. So it's another dictionary. So let's specify the key here, and we'll be able to get that item. So now if I run this, I get the name. So yeah, this is how you can actually access individual elements or specific elements from that JSON object.